Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of podcast. I'm your host, David Brooks, and we have a guest with us here for this episode of the podcast, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Hey everyone, I'm Dan Goodman. I am the president and founder of Building36 Technologies. We are a smart home provider specifically for the professional trades. Just to give you a little bit of background of who I am, I like to say that I'm a recovering engineer. So deep down, I've got a degree in electrical engineering and computer science from MIT. Started out in making wireless chips and got into making smart thermostats. Actually made the first mass market communicating thermostats. Had made them at retail, so sold the 3M products at Home Depot. Started making thermostats for the security world. And then I like to joke that I woke up one night in a cold sweat and I realized I was selling thermostats to a cable company. And I won't name the cable company, but who's less appropriate to touch your thermostat than a cable company? We started Building36 with the intention of how do we take everything we learned about making connected devices, but make them for the professional trades. So we make devices and services for the professional trades. And really what it boils down to is this is a way for your trade company to maintain a relationship with a customer in that in-between period, right? You're always looking for the next customer. What if you could just get more out of the customers you already have, right? How do you maintain a relationship with a customer for years without having to pay Google or anybody else to reacquire that customer? So we've made this amazing app that can connect to basically everything inside the house, but it's fundamentally monitoring all that critical system so that anytime there's a problem, not only does the customer get an alert, but it goes right back to the contractor. So that's the quick who I am and where I came from.
All right, excellent. No, thanks for that intro, Dan. We appreciate it. So in this episode, we're going to talk about owning the home, right? We're going to talk about, what can home service contractor do to really be able to, like you said, continue that relationship just from the initial point of contact all the way through, and really maximizing the relationship that you have to be able to gain more relationships, and also through referral, and also be able to be looked at as, a returning, be able to return for service, right? That's important. It's not just a one-time job. Other things come up, needs, concerns, questions, and you want to be able to be there to support that. So we're going to get into that in this episode. So question for you, how can a HVAC contractor just really establish themselves as the, authority in the homeowner's mind?
I mean, I think it all comes down to you've gotten into the home, right? And the best laid plan is getting that customer onto your maintenance program or onto your membership plan, however it is, to start building that relationship with that customer. Because you think about it, I mean, Amazon Prime is the best example, right? Where once somebody signs up for Prime, they just start buying everything from Amazon and it kind of snowballs, right? So how do you have that lasting effect with your customer to get them A, onto the maintenance plan, and then B, keep them on that maintenance plan, right? And I feel like it's you come in, you do good work once, right? And the trick is how do you get that customer to keep thinking about you, right? Because it's like, it's not like you need to repair every single day, but when the repairs happen, you want to be top of mind. And so that's, to me, the biggest thing is getting to that position where you're thinking about you every day. And then, of course, I've got a solution for that, where you put an app in their hands, right? If you've got an app on their phone that they're actually using every single day, that's how you maintain that relationship. And that's how you maintain that top of mind presence with your, everyday customers.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Like you said, maintaining that relationship with the customer, and then being able to have that app and have the ability to be able to connect the two dots together. And I think that's vitally important when trying to get a customer on the maintenance program, and really being able to explain the benefits, the value, right? And so I think in my mind, you have to have that value proposition ready where it's just a no-brainer. Like you said, if you use Amazon, you sign up for Prime, just automatically you're going to order more stuff.
Right.
That's just how it works. So can we talk about a little bit about, providing that value?
Sure, sure. I mean, it really, you think about it, it's like I signed up for a maintenance plan,
Mhm.
right? You came to my house, something's broken. I signed up for the maintenance plan, and I did some quick math, and it was like, well, wait a second, the discount I'm going to get on the service today pays for the cost of the maintenance plan, so it's a no-brainer to sign up, right? The real decision point comes when I need to re-up, or I'm looking at that monthly fee, saying, what is the value being driven there, right? And you can kind of look at this as whether it's a service call, like a demand call, or a new system sale, right? The new system sale, I feel like it might be a little bit easier because you can tie the maintenance and kind of the preventative maintenance back to the warranty, right? So that's a good way to help hang on to that. But it's really for me about driving engagement, right? So if I buy a maintenance plan and you look at the typical maintenance plan customer, what inevitably happens is I buy the maintenance plan that day. Somebody was out, I got the discount, so I signed up for the maintenance plan. And then a year goes by, and for whatever reason, I couldn't schedule my PM. I couldn't get somebody out to the house. And then all of a sudden, I start questioning the value of it. And it's like, yeah, I know I get the discount on parts. I know I get priority service, but I feel like the big thing I'm paying for is that preventative maintenance. And if it gets missed, then that's when the customer's like, oh, I don't know, and they turn off the credit card, right?
Mhm.
So adding one more piece to that maintenance plan that drives value, that again, that they think of every day, is that if you can tie your app back into that maintenance program where, because I know data from our app, our average user is logging in 1.7 times per day. Like, think about that. And it's all branded for the contractor. So 1.7 times per day, the customer is thinking about you. And all of a sudden they're saying, oh, you missed that PM. I'm thinking about canceling. It's like, well, sorry, part of our maintenance program and the value that we're providing to you is this monitoring service where we're giving you this app, controlling everything in your house or anything that you want to control in your house. And it's all, this is part of the maintenance program. That's when they say, okay, right, I see the value that you're providing, because it's this one additional point, right? And it's not just the insurance policy that most maintenance plans are, where it's like, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. I'm not thinking about it, and it's just a bill. Now it's, oh no, this is the thing I use every single day.
Mhm. And that's, really the value, like you said, using it every single day. Like you said, you have the data where customers are logging in, you said at least once a day. And that is the value proposition right there, because when you constantly need to use something, whether it be one time a day or whether it be 10 times a day, you still use it almost
Mhm.
every day, right? So throughout your daily pattern, you come in contact, with the app, you're looking through. So that in itself is worth the weight in gold, versus any other solution where you may have a maintenance program and it may not come with that, right? So
Mhm.
then you have that missing value proposition. So it's easy to be able to connect the dots together where you say, okay, well, we noticed that, you're using it, once a day, and this is of value to you. And then once it becomes almost like second nature, then it's like, oh man, well, what did I do without that? And
Exactly. Well, and I mean, we have the data to show it. We have over 90% retention on maintenance plans. If you actually look at what people have for retention on maintenance plans, and people say, oh, my maintenance program's growing. I grew 10% last year. I'm awesome. And it's like, you are awesome, right? That is great. You went, just as a hypothetical exercise, you went from 1,000 customers to 1,100. That's 10% growth. You're amazing. But what really happened, right? You probably went from 1,000 to half your people quit, right? So you went from 1,000 to 500 and you added 600. It's like, well, wait a second. If you could actually retain that, instead of going from 1,000 to 1,100, you probably would have went from 1,000 to 1,500, right? You could have had 50% growth, right? And you think about A, the recurring revenue of that, but B, the opportunity to sell, right? 10% of those maintenance customers should yield a new system sale every year.
Mhm.
So the more customers you have, the more captive you have them, right? It's much easier to go and get those big ticket items, which is the replacement. And that's kind of the holy grail in all of this.
Yes, and that's like you said, the holy grail is being able to get that replacement, to be able to be there when they need you, is one of the most important parts of it. Like you said, is is the end goal is to be able to be there, and then not only that, if someone, down the street is experiencing, a similar issue, hey, look, use my guy, right? This is what I'm on this maintenance program. This is what
Mhm.
I get with it. These are the benefits. And then word of mouth starts to spread. And then that's how growth starts to happen without losing the base that you already have.
Exactly. I mean, it's you want to hang on to these customers, right? You spend so much time and energy and money to acquire that customer to just let them walk and have to go do it again next time something breaks. It just doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
Now we can hang on to them. And like you said, that, I don't often pull out, that maintenance plan and put it on a piece of paper. Hey, check out this maintenance agreement I got. That's pretty sweet. But, I've definitely showed people, hey, check this out. My house used 200 gallons of water today.
Mhm.
Like, what's going on? Like, why are we using so much versus yesterday? Or, kind of joking and turning the lights off in the kitchen. My wife's in there, right? It's like, haha, check this out, right? It's like, those are the things. I mean, but yeah, we talk about this all the time, right? It's like, oh, if something's going on in my house, or the kids are coming home from school, or whatever's going on, or did I leave my garage open? Right? I've got this app that I'm looking at that it pops up in daily conversation all the time.
And it just makes it easier when things are at your fingertips, right? We are now in that technology age, this new generation of moving things forward, and it makes things easier. Door ring the ring camera, right? So it's like, hey, if you're not at home, I can talk through my phone. Hey, leave the package, on the
Right?
side, and you're able to communicate through your phone and then being able to kind of see what's going on in your home. If a security monitor goes off, hey, look, I can go in and see, oh, it's just a cat moving, right? Or it's just a
Right.
dog, or whatever, something
Mhm.
just fell over because of the fan. It's very beneficial. Imagine if you didn't have that. Right now, it's like, oh, I have to leave work. I got to see what's going on. Now it saves you, okay, I can just check from my phone, and it makes it easy.
Right. Or even worse is, hey, I just had a burst pipe in my house, right? Like, you come home and water's dripping down the driveway. It's like, that's not good, right? Or you come home on that first hot day and your air conditioner doesn't work, right? It's like, oh, I got to deal with this. Now, like, what we're doing is on top of this. So not only can you control your thermostat, but we're monitoring the HVAC. So I can tell you, hey, the system's calling for cool. The house is not cooling down. Literally back at the shop, you can log into that customer's house and see every single cycle of the HVAC system. Right? We can tell you exactly what's going on before you even get there. And like this time of year, I'm in Boston. Today is actually our first kind of real warm day. It's late this year, middle of May, and still hasn't gotten warm yet. But there's a lot of people who will turn their air conditioning on for the first time today, and it will be broken. And they might not know because it's not that warm, right? That it gets up into the high 70s, right? You turn your AC on, the fan starts to go. You're like, all right, I guess that's on. But meanwhile, in a month, it's going to be really hot, and then all of a sudden everybody's gonna be scrambling for help, right? Or from the contractor's perspective, right? Wouldn't it be amazing if I could service more people today so I have more capacity a month from now when it does get really hot, right? That's the sort of stuff that we're doing. All these people right now in their phone is getting a pop-up that says, hey, let's test your AC, right? It's a preseason test. Let's get this going. And we'll actually have them hit the button. It turns the air conditioning on. We watch their house. We look at the weather, right? We know all this information about what's going on. And now we're driving that engagement. So the customer says, ooh, I do need to do this. And wait a second, I haven't booked my spring maintenance here. Let me click the button in the app and schedule my appointment to get somebody out to come out here and clean it and make sure everything's running for when it does get hot.
Yep.
So there's so much more that you can do once you get that connection with that customer.
Mhm. And that connection is so important. And like you said, because if you could be a few steps ahead before it really, hits the
Mhm.
fan, that's just all the more better, because it's nothing worse, as a homeowner, as a consumer, and to be able to say, okay, this doesn't work. And now it's at that critical point where it's like, I needed to know this a little bit sooner so I could have prevented this, right? And you don't want to be in that predicament where it's, oh man, or it could just be something simple as, we went away. We didn't set the thermometer into the, now it's a few hot days back home, and we want to be able to get in and have the house be already cooled off. Well, we can't
Yep.
do that if we
Right.
don't have anything on our phones.
Exactly. And so that, the big thing is that, it kind of in the beginning of what I started, it was like, yeah, we're bringing this thermostat to your phone. It's like, all right, that was a huge step forward. And now, I feel like Wi-Fi thermostats are a dime a dozen. Everybody makes one, you can get them anywhere. But where is the one that the contractor can control the service, right? That the contractor is the one fundamentally providing this service. Because like with all these other Wi-Fi ones, hey, I just go to, that company's website and boom, right? I create an account. I don't, it's the customer is dealing with the manufacturer and not dealing with the contractor, right? The whole point of everything we're doing at Building 36 is to hide all that so that the name, the brand, everything out front is for the contractor, right? So the contractor, the customer isn't thinking, oh, I deal with, big search engine company for a thermostat. I deal with, my local HVAC shop. And that's the bridge that we're trying to build between the consumer and the contractor.
And like I said, mirroring that bridge is so important. Whereas though, you're that in between for the homeowner, right? So instead
Mhm.
of the homeowner going the other way around, and if they have an issue with it, like, who do I go to now? I can't go to them, right? And so it's
Right.
connect.
No, I mean that's the same thing that happened with the cable company, right? It's like everybody, the first thing is like, hey, my thermostat's broken. I'm gonna call my cable company. And it's like, well, first of all, it's not your thermostat, right? Thermostat doesn't break. That's like getting in your car and be like, hey, the engine doesn't turn on, my key is broken. It's like, well, no, it's not. Your key is not broken, right? You got something wrong with your car. And so it's the same type of thing with HVAC is that they tend to think of the name of the thermostat as the company or the provider, right? And they're reaching out to those folks or looking for that to try to find what's happening. And now we can sit here and say, no, it's your brand that's associated with this thermostat. And that's how we drive that activity back to the contractor.
And driving that activity back to the contractor is all about what you said, owning the home, being able to own the relationship, be able to move it forward, to be able to have your brand be in front of the customer. So if they do have an issue, something as simple as, oh, I look at the thermostat, reminds me of Jay's HVAC and plumbing, and it's like, all right, let me call Jay's to see what's going on, to help me out with this issue. Is not, hey, let me call the manufacturer and they can't do nothing for me.
Exactly. Right. And I mean, as every homeowner has been through this, right? There is nothing worse than like, it's always the hottest summer day, right? Or the coldest winter day. And my system broke and I'm sitting there in a panic, right? We got dinner party or people are coming over, you got a birthday party to celebrate, and it's like, you know, my system doesn't work. What do I do? Who do I call? Right? Imagine, first of all, that this system is kind of breaking and like you can catch it earlier, right? So it's not like, okay, this is the day it's dead. It's like, oh, we see it on its way out. But to have the person who's providing this service is also monitoring it to say like, hey, I got to reach out to you proactively, Mrs. Jones, you got a problem. Do you need any help? Right? This is what we're noticing. And it's not just an email saying like you should probably look into this. It's real data about their house to say, hey, you set the temperature to be 72 and it's 74 and rising, right? That seems like something's not quite right. Do you need help? Right? And that's it's not a sales call, right? This is me providing value to you and helping you, right? And it can even get into life safety, right? Where we have carbon monoxide sensors, right? And this is a real story from one of our contractors put a carbon monoxide sensor in the house. There was a carbon monoxide leak. And it always comes out like this, where the guy's like, that damn thing keeps beeping. What is going on here? And it's like, you have a carbon monoxide. You send somebody out and all of a sudden realize like they had put in a new HVAC system and the water heater was leaking carbon monoxide. So they basically said, hey, you've got a problem with this water heater. And then they got the water heater sale out of that for replacement. Right. And other stories where it was like, one woman, it was very scary. She's just like, I felt terrible. I was nauseous, I had a headache. And, so I went to bed and sure enough, it was a carbon monoxide leak in the house. So we were able to reach out to her and say, hey, you gotta get out of the house. And thankfully we were able to figure out what happened. But we saved her life. And that's when it's like, that's the sort of value that you as an HVAC contractor can provide your customers, right? Like that woman is forever indebted to that service company that came out there and put that sensor in her house. Because had that not been connected, she probably would not have figured out what was happening until it was too late.
Yeah, and that's vitally, whew, like you said, vitally crucial. And she's going to be forever thankful because, something as simple as that, when you think about technology and then devices and things that, we have, they're really, not just as simple as being able to prevent your unit from going out or servicing, but it's so much more. Like you said, having that monoxide detector inside of the home and being able to be alerted to, hey, something's up.
Mhm.
That's really important. That's also overlooked too, and
Yeah,
something that should be in every home.
it should be in every home, and it should be connected and tied to the app that the service provider is giving you, right? Like, I don't know, we just talked about owning the home, and what it doesn't take much, right? Providing this value that, it's like having somebody that actually knows HVAC, right? That can fix an air conditioner and can fix a furnace or boiler or whatever. That is priceless, right? To have somebody that you know and trust and you can count on, that is priceless. But it's not top of mind, right? I mean, you get distracted with everyday whatever going on, right? You got your work, your kids, your parents, your families, right? Everything is distracting you from this great service provider, right? How do you bridge that gap so that you have this relationship, right? Where I know I've got my guy that I call, and it's like, hey, I got a problem. I'm traveling. My wife's home with kids. It's like, we got to get somebody out there. It's like, okay, I'm a click away, right? And I know exactly what it is. And from the opposite perspective, your contractor, you provide the best service, right? You're like a doctor for that house. You've been out there, you've been repairing that system for years, right? They should call you. Now you can provide an app that can control these things, that can monitor the critical things, but it drives back to engagement, and it drives back to you being the one who can provide it, right? Versus, hey, I'm going to go get 10 apps to control 10 different things in my house, and we're going to think about each individual manufacturer, not the service provider who's really the genius, right? They're the ones who can fix any problem, and that's the person that you really need.
Yeah. No, you really need that provider to be able to lay it out for you, right? Here's your benefits. Here's the ultimate value. We're going to be able to make sure that this experience is good for you, not just this initial experience, but every experience moving forward, right? We have your best interests in mind, to be able to help with preventive maintenance, to be able to help diagnose things, and really just not only that, but making it seamless, right? People want,
Mhm.
if it's easy, I'm all for it.
Right. No, that's such a good point on the easy part. I mean, it's sort of been the biggest lesson learned that we've had is that, the one kind of enemy to these connected services has been Wi-Fi, right? I know we were talking pre-meeting here about you getting your Wi-Fi all sorted out. Um, we know that's a challenge. People get new routers, and it's like we want to make devices that are connected for years and years and years, and that you just don't think about them. So we actually put a dedicated, essentially a cell phone in every house just to get this equipment connected. So that way you just turn it on, plug it in, and just like your cell phone, how you always have service and you can make calls, we can actually have everything based off that cellular network, and be able to connect all these devices in the house so that even if your Wi-Fi goes down, or you change your routers, right, that you don't have to have your technician sitting here trying to figure out like, hey, what's Nana's Wi-Fi password, right? It's like, nah, just turn it on, plug it in, and you're good to go. And that also tells the story of professional grade, right? This isn't just the stuff you go get at the big box store and kind of DIY. This is a professional grade product from a professional grade solution from your premium service company provider, right? That's what the contractor can offer. Say, we are the premium shop. That's why we offer the premium products.
Exactly. Right. Premium shop, premium products, premium customer experience, everything is A1. When I think about, owning the home, being able to provide that experience, being the expert subject matter, and to be able to provide the homeowner with the best recommendations as possible, and it to be like again, like flawless, easy. It's a no-brainer, it makes sense, right? Ultimately I can depend on me being a priority when something goes wrong, right? Not just, oh, it's the last minute, it's the hottest day. I'm calling, five companies to get somebody to come out, and oh, you got to wait to get to me.
No, exactly. That's exactly it.
All right. So Dan, we like to wrap up the segment with usually the last little bit of information that we, try to keep at the top of our minds is, the value of being able to provide home service contractors, and in this episode particularly with Building 36, right? So we want to be able to leave with a few words from you to be able to help them be able to connect the dots and to be able to help with business growth.
Yeah, I mean, I think the number one thing here is that we all know that memberships and maintenance plans are the way to sort of have the best of both worlds. It gives you the opportunity to have amazing relationships with your customers. It helps put a fence around them, and it helps keep out competition. It also keeps your customer acquisition costs low, right? If you don't have to keep paying to reacquire those customers, right, you're going to have more profitable business. So if the goal is to get your maintenance program somewhere that you get customers into it and then they never leave, using Building 36 technologies as a way to establish that beachhead in the house so that you have something where it goes from, instead of it being something where you're visiting, once a year, hopefully, right, to something where the contractor is thinking about you every single day, right? This is the opportunity to get in there, lay claim to those customers, right? We have a partnership monitoring your house, right? That this maintenance plan isn't something I hope to sell you today and that I might have to resell you in a couple of years. This is the way that we say, this is our relationship. I'm going to protect you as long as you live in this house. For whenever you need anything, I'm going to make it so easy for you to get a hold of me. You're not going to think about going the other way, right? That I'm not going to go to Google and search broken air conditioner. This is the opportunity to own that customer relationship, own the home, and build lifelong customers. Because if you provide great service, which we know so many contractors out there provide exceptional service, right? There's no reason why a homeowner wouldn't want to just go back to them over and over again. So if you can provide a technology solution that gives you eyes and ears into that customer's homes 24/7, 365, so that you can be there, have that relationship, and grow forever without having to pay to require those customers, Building 36 can help you do that.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate it, Dan, and just let the people know where they can contact you at.
So come see us. We're at building36.com, or based out of just outside of Boston. If anybody's local wants to come out and see us in person, we'd happy to have you. But if you come out, reach out to us at building36.com. So just building36.com. It's the best place to come and learn about more information, and we can show you more.
Right. Excellent. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Everyone, make sure to tune into the next episode.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.